Mysterious and observant, the INFJ isn't everyone's cup of tea. Known as one of the most empathetic personality types, it's ironic that people would perceive the INFJ as a threat. However, some of their natural qualities rub some people the wrong way. So, why is it that people see the INFJ as a threat, and is it understandable or uncalled for? Welcome, or welcome back, psychos. Before we get into it, we'd love it if you liked and subscribed to our channel, as well as to click the post notification bell so you never miss a video. Alright, let's jump right into it, starting with number 1. They point out obvious injustice. Let's start off with one of the most common perceived threats of the INFJ, their unapologetic approach to questioning injustices. Whether it be in the workforce, in school, in romantic relationships, or people in higher power. When people fear their unfair attitude towards a situation will be exposed, they can get rather defensive and stubborn. And this is exactly what INFJs see right past. When INFJs begin questioning why certain corners are cut and why certain people are getting the brunt of the difficulty, the ones playing the game can see INFJs have a total threat to the system they have running. Maybe they're afraid of losing their position of power, their perceived control, or their social status. Regardless of what it is, INFJs don't hold any remorse for enlightening others of someone arbitrary. Number 2. They take calculated risks in life. Some people live life on a whim, while others lead through clear and concise structure. INFJs are somewhere in between. Guided by introverted intuition, a lot of the time, INFJs seem like they're making drastic or spontaneous decisions in life. There's always a method to their madness. In fact, the goal to live life with their dreams as guidance is something INFJs hold very near and dear to their heart, and that can feel threatening to people that want them to be less ambitious. An example of this would be that INFJs are usually great employees because of their personable and hardworking nature. However, because they get bored easily and are always looking to make a move to the next best opportunity, certain managers can feel threatened, knowing they may not have them for long. They may think the INFJ is making the wrong decision for leaving a company, but in reality, their calculated approach rarely fails them. Number 3. They're not afraid to speak their original ideas. Similar to how the INFJs need to point out injustice when they're faced with it, this creative personality type also isn't afraid to communicate their ways of doing things. The kicker to that is that sometimes people don't want their way of doing things to be challenged. This level of independence and assertiveness can feel rather threatening to people who set out to take all the credit or remain closed off to outer opinions. INFJs are so familiar with using their imaginative ideas in life that they know when they will work and when they won't, making it difficult to remain submissive when being influenced by others. This sense of individuality can also threaten people who always go by the book, because the originality of an INFJ's thoughts usually stems from going against social norms in some way. In these instances, rebellion can certainly be perceived as threatening. Number 4. They have little sympathy for the victim mentality. INFJs understand the effect of their thoughts, words, and actions, and how it ultimately all comes back into their experience. While this may serve their empathetic nature well by being able to effectively absorb and reflect the feelings of others, it's not to say that they always have sympathy for stupidity or intentional self-destruction. Sure, INFJs are known for sometimes giving a little too much sympathy and the benefit of the doubt to people who may not entirely deserve it. Yet, the INFJ can clearly see the difference between someone who is putting in the effort despite their hardships and someone who sees themselves as a victim to life circumstances. This observation and behavior can be threatening all on its own, but even more so when people are turning to an INFJ for the empathy they're known to lend out. Number 5. They strive to be perfect at everything. The perfectionistic nature of the INFJ isn't as threatening to others as it is to their own self-critiquing. However, perfectionism can certainly be considered threatening to some. If you've worked on a team with an INFJ, you'll know that they may be a little more delegating than their usual laid-back selves. When an INFJ name or success is tied to an outcome, you can bet their micromanaging tendencies come in stronger than expected. Although they're not exactly competitive by nature, INFJs are always in competition with themselves. And that alone makes the INFJ a threat to the more competitive folks. Constantly striving to be better than they were while incorporating their determination and imagination, INFJs work their way to the top with humble intentions. Number 6. They don't require outer approval. Depending on the people they're surrounded by, most INFJs don't trust others with their thoughts, ideas, and secrets like others do with them. They understand that the motives of certain people aren't always what they seem, so they don't bother taking their disapproval too seriously. In fact, INFJs can easily convince themselves that if someone is trying to talk them out of an idea, that person must not understand the INFJ's view on the matter. This sometimes results in them ultimately shutting out the approvals of others completely. Not only can this feel threatening to some people, especially friends and family who may just want to help, but it can also fall back on the INFJ. Sometimes a trusted opinion or two can actually really help them get a different perspective on everyday matters. Number 7. No one ever knows what they're really thinking. With a vast inner world that is occupied with a continuous sequence of internal thoughts, INFJs carry with them a mysteriousness that is difficult to crack. Because of this, they say you could know an INFJ for years and never really know much about them, and that can feel seriously threatening to people who think they have them all figured out. Because of their unique thought patterns and their deep understanding of humans, they rarely share their deepest thoughts with other people. INFJs know they think about topics that most people wouldn't even think of diving into, and probably have opinions about everyone they meet that they don't ever want to share. They can easily put on a front that gives everyone else around them the assumption that there's nothing going on behind the curtains, when in reality, they're thinking of things that would probably confuse or offend the average person. Number 8. People trust them with their lives. Some people see the INFJ as a threat simply because of their ability to make meaningful connections with those around them. Some people naturally confide in the INFJ with their personal issues, life problems, thoughts, and feelings because of their empathetic magnetism. However, with these seemingly effortless connections that usually come when the INFJ is minding their own business, comes jealousy from those who don't have this so-called gift. With heart-to-heart conversations and naturally deep questions, INFJs are able to achieve a genuine connection in less time and with less effort than some other people-persons are able to accomplish. Of course, to the INFJ, it's not about making as many connections with as many important people as possible, but sometimes they end up as a teacher's pet or boss's favorite just because of their authenticity. Let's just say, some people don't always appreciate that quality. Number 9. They're extremely attentive. While some people are put off by an INFJ's mysterious energy, others can feel threatened just by the amount of attentiveness an INFJ brings to their connections and conversations. In fact, one of the greatest abilities of the INFJ is their attentive listening skills and their ability to ask the right questions. However, nowadays, people are used to half-thought-out answers and only partial attention spans. So, when in a conversation with a genuinely interested INFJ, people can become suspicious. They may even start to question if the INFJ has an ulterior motive behind wanting to help, feeling threatened to the point of wanting to stop talking to them altogether. Number 10. Their observing nature makes them seem judgmental. Speaking of being attentive, in the end, there's nothing more threatening than being deeply analyzed by an INFJ, especially if you have something to hide. INFJs may take the back seat in a conversation, but their piercing gaze and scarce input can certainly make some people feel like they're under the spotlight with no idea what could possibly be going through the INFJ's mind. This is most prominent during large group settings and first-time meetings because the INFJ is in total analyzing mode, trying to form a baseline of who certain people really are. They try to be discreet, but sometimes the INFJ stare gets the best of them. Well, psychos, that's it for today's video. So, would you say you've ever been seen as a threat as an INFJ? Let us know in the comments below. Also, make sure to leave us a like, share with your friends, and also subscribe to our channel so that you never miss a video.